jump on this and then jump right off of it because at Bleacher Report, Grant Hughes. Anybody know anything about Grant Hughes? Grant
I
Hughes.
don't know. Nah.
And they just posted this today. Actually, yesterday. One word to describe every team's 2025 NBA offseason so far. Again, this is just posted yesterday. For example, the Hawks, giddy. Celtics, bummer. Nets, opportunistic, and on and on and on. Charlotte Hornets, shrewd. What word do we have for the Kings? Let me ask you guys, if you have one off the top of your head, what's one word you would use to describe the Kings offseason so far? Anything come to mind, Drapes? Not to put you on the spot.
I would say solid.
Uh-huh.
Solid. It's not bad. Solid.
Yep.
Going intriguing.
Okay, I like that, Jay.
Those are really good. They make a lot of sense. It's not the word that Grant Hughes picked, though, for Sacramento.
Better not be something negative.
He's got Phoenix Suns, regretful. Trailblazers, ambitious. Sacramento Kings, the word is wayward. Here's wayward. He says, beyond bringing back almost anyone who either used to play for or play for the organization, anyone who used to work for or play for the organization, the Sacramento Kings don't seem to have a unifying plan. If you exclude signing journeyman Dennis Schroder to start a point guard, the Kings' biggest offseason move was empowering Scott Perry, the executive who once signed a 40-year-old Vince Carter, 36-year-old Zach Randolph, and 31-year-old George Hill in the same 2017 offseason. That was before leaving just a few months later as those veteran acquisitions grew frustrated on a go-nowhere team. Perry presides over a head coach in Doug Christie that he did not hire. The roster is aging, short on defenders, and coming off a dismal 40-42 season. De'Aaron Fox is gone. Domantas Sabonis could follow him out the door sooner than later, and the whole Bulls West roster construction plan leaves a lot to be desired. Owner Vivek Ranadive has yet to empower the right people or stick to a plan for more than a couple of seasons. As has been the case for most of the last 25 years, Sacramento is adrift, says Grant Hughes, Bleacher Report. Wayward is the word for the Kings. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be upset by this. Some people say, don't worry about it. I just say, all right, write that down, because I think Grant Hughes is wrong, and I would delight in showing him how wrong he is when he's proven wrong down the road.
Ooh, I like that, Whitey. I agree with you, man. Grant Hughes must got an axe to grind. He must have applied to the Sacramento Bee and got denied or something, like didn't get a job or something, because this seems personal. Like he's ripping everything, basically. And outside of adding Dennis Schroder, outside of adding a starting point guard, Dennis Schroder is going to be big for this team, wayward. And he references Scott Perry's signings, his first go around in Sacramento.
That's a long time ago.
That's a long time ago. And I'll be honest, right now, this franchise, this organization needs some stability. You know what I mean? We don't need to be the Houston Rockets from 3 years ago, just out there, a bunch of chickens with their heads cut off and everything like that. We need some stability. And so if Scott Perry came in here and, cut everybody and traded everybody, that it could have some dire consequences. We were 40-42. Nobody was happy with that. You know what I mean? But you had a point guard. You had two promising rookies. I could argue Scott Perry does have a plan, a path ahead, an idea of where he wants this organization to go.
Yeah, I really think that as I look at it here, if you get to the essence of this Grant Hughes is saying Scott Perry doesn't know what he's doing. Because he's saying Vivek Ranadive has yet to empower the right people. And then starting off by going back to some signings that Scott Perry made 8 years ago before he left. Scott Perry left. So that was one of the reasons the players are so unhappy, is because you had a little bit of a regime change there. But the other thing that stands out, while, okay, some of this is fair. We understand the Kings have struggled, but there's no mention of the draft picks. And right now, that is the story of the Kings offseason. So if you're going to give an assessment of the Kings offseason and not mention their draft picks, you're just not doing it right.
Yeah, 100%, Whitey. I mean, you could argue, we've had the two of the most impactful rookies out here at Summer League so far.
Right.
And so you got to give them some love for that. I mean, it sounds like a hit job, if you ask me, a hit piece on Scott Perry and the organization. and here's the thing. I know the narrative is Doug was forced on Scott Perry. Like Scott Perry. Here's the thing, though. If Scott Perry believes in Doug, thinks he's going to be a good coach, who cares whether Vivek told him or not? The question is, was Scott Perry on board with it? And it seems like, because if you're Scott Perry, think about it like this, Whitey. Your job in the future going forward is directly tied to the current coach.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a coach you don't believe in, why would you take the job?
Right.
Doesn't make sense. So I believe Scott, maybe he didn't have a say, but he was okay with it. He was more than okay enough to take the job. So it's not necessarily a negative, like, oh, he got forced, or, Scott Perry, Doug got forced on Scott Perry.
Right. And I think Jerry might have said this. They got it right. It appears they got it right. Obviously, we got to wait and see how it plays out. Doug Christie was the guy that they should have hired, and they did. Scott Perry has come in, and while it's very early, so far he's done a really good job with the draft. So there's nothing to complain about. You make a great point. Scott Perry wouldn't come in and take the job if he didn't think Doug Christie was the guy. So it looks like no matter how you ended up here, you're in a good spot with both of these guys. So that's a good thing. And this has energized this franchise. We've seen it, even though it's only summer league, to go from we don't have a first-round pick to ended up with two guys that some would say they got 2 first-round picks. Reno technically was not, but a lot of people thought he would be. That is a job well done. So I think this is way off base, but again, it's low-hanging fruit. Sacramento, everyone thinks Sacramento's terrible. So, they're wayward. They don't know what they're doing. I think Grant Hughes just doesn't understand what the Kings are doing, and that there's a big difference between that and the Kings not knowing what they're doing.
Right. Exactly. And I do believe, Sacramento's history, the Kings' history, if you will, is, being every move we make is going to be graded under that lens, viewed under that lens. Well, they brought in Dennis Schroder, or, Doug Christie is the coach. Of course, Vivek had a say in it and everything like that. And so until we overcome that, however, until we, show what, we're a stable franchise and that stability that I talk about, these are the shots that's going to be out there against us.
Right. And like I said, some of that is fair. And it's like, you just got to show people they're wrong. Your talk is one thing. No, we're doing this, that. At some point, it's incumbent upon the organization to show people, no, look, see, we're winning. Somebody asked, what was the word that this writer gave the Warriors? Standoff, because of the fact that they appear to be in limbo because of Kuminga. So that was a word that he gave them. It's surprising because it seems like the Kings, for what it's worth, more and more writers now, Drapes, based on this offseason, are actually saying, no, the Kings have done a good job with the draft and in this offseason. So this really kind of stuck out to me.
Yeah. It's, if you look at some of the tweets from, people who are in attendance, working out here at Summer League, writers, they're bullish. They're high on the 2 Kings rookies. I saw several, posts where people say, my takeaways so far, my standouts from Summer League so far, Nate Clifford, Max Reynaud. And so, I think the early returns, they hit on both draft picks. You got to give them credit for that. Dennis Schroder, I'm a big fan of Dennis Schroder. I like the signing. I hate to lose JV and Jake LaRavia, so you can knock them off a point for that, if you will. But, I said it earlier. I give it a C+ B- off season. I will say this, too, though. I didn't tell you guys. I saw my boy Jake LaRavia yesterday.
Really?
And, I chopped it up with Jake LaRavia.
Turn your back on him? Did you say, I'm not talking to you?
I thought about it. But he's sitting there with his best buddy, his BFF, his baby, Austin Reeves.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I go up to him, I'm like, Jake, you're killing me, bro. This is exactly, I'm like, you're killing me right now. What are you doing? Like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, yo, I had to make a business decision. It was strictly a business decision. I get to play with LeBron and Luka in Los Angeles. And I'm like, where are you from? He's like, I'm from Indiana. And I'm like, dude, what? Why you want to go to LA? And so, nothing but love, obviously, for Sacramento, but he kept it strictly business, he said. But I Austin Reeves is his best bud. I mean, like they're just hanging out, chopping it up and everything. And so I get it, man. But I had to let him know, dude, you broke our hearts in Sacramento.
Yeah. It just did. He just seems so enthusiastic. He could have at least tempered that, right? Like,
Right,
I like
that's what I'm saying.
we'll see. I've got a lot of options instead of, I love it there. Everything's great.
What did he post to? Like Jake LaRavia or something like that after. And I'm like, bro, give us a minute to deal with the rejection. You know what I mean? Deal with the breakup. He just went to his new boo, if you will, man. Yeah, a little too excited about that.
Speaking of boo, when he comes back, will he be booed?
Yeah, a little bit.
Kings legend.
Might be, huh?
Yeah, because you went to the Lakers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
you
that's the thing.
Lakers? Oh, yeah. Different. First of all, you will be booed because you got that jersey on.
Yeah. What do you think, Dre? And I know, Dre, I'm not asking you what you think fans should do, but do you think that they would have some? That's a tough one because he was a fan favorite here.
Right. That is a tough one because, like Jay said, if he wasn't wearing Lakers gear, he probably get some cheers. But you go to the Lakers, and also, oh man, he played 19 games in Sacramento. Is that worthy of cheers? I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
I don't. Yeah.
They were there. I think Deuce had a posted that they were going to retire his jersey, hang his jersey from the rafters. Like that first game. You remember the first game? I know you did that first game.
Yep. Came in 7 early points. He changed the tone of that game. But 19 games, I give him a golf clap. I give him all right, Jake. Now go back to the bench. Like I give him a golf clap.